Hey, shout out folks, it's Bob the Old Rucker and welcome to Shout Out from the Pit. Before we launch into our show, I want to let you know that we're always looking for folks to share their experience, strength, and hope. If you've overcome something and have a toolbox that can provide others with hope to overcome their challenges, let us know. Check out shoutoutfromthepit.com and briefly share your story under the Contact tab. Redbeard and I will reach out to you for a chat and talk about doing a show. Also, we're going to be launching 1-minute epiphanies. You know how you get these crazy, awesome thoughts like when you're on the trail or in the shower or whatever, and you just want to shout it out from the mountaintop. Well, you can do that with us in one or both of two ways. On the website, there's an unmonitored phone number. You can leave your epiphany with us and Redbeard will work his magic. Or you can leave your thoughts under the Contact tab and one of us will read it on the show. But please remember to give us just your first name and what state or country you're from. If you've done this and didn't get a response, well, I humbly admit we had a glitch in the system and that's been repaired. So please forgive us and visit the site again. Okay, so here's what to expect from this show. This is a powerful episode about the damage pornography causes to the person living with the pornography addict. Lisa shares her painful experience, amazing strength, and wonderful hope with us as she journeys through the trials and shares how God was with her through these trials and how she's moved on with God as her pilot. And as we know, God never wastes a hurt. And yes, there is a happy ending. And I admit up front, I am not the best host in this show, but she is an amazing guest. So with that, and now on with the show. Shout out, folks. It's Bob the Old Rucker coming at you raw and uncensored. And as always, only God knows what's going to happen on this show. So welcome to Shout Out from the Pit, where we bring stories and topics designed to add to your toolbox as you trudge the road to happy destiny. Joining us today is Lisa from the great state of Texas. Lisa, give us a shout out.
Woohoo, Texas.
All right. Hey, Lisa, I had so many thoughts after our pre-show chat that we had. I'm going to share with you. I felt a little slight anger. I felt some empathy. I had a lot of questions along the lines of why, there's these mysteries that, we don't know why things happen and just what you went through really kind of shook me. So I'm going to tell you up front, I can't imagine what it was like to live with somebody addicted to pornography in the extent that that he was, and all the stuff that you shared. And don't get a big head, okay? But I really thank you for your courage and transparency and your willingness to get this message out. To folks like yourself that have survived the stuff that you've gone through, and for people that might be going through what you went through. Mm-hmm. And I especially, as difficult as it was for me, I had to come to grips and remember that love and tolerance is our code. So if you're listening to the show, folks, and you are an addict in pornography, I want you to know, as you'll discover in this show, that you're not the only one that's harmed in this addiction. So Lisa, yeah, you are a hero. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, so before we get started, let's get to know who Lisa is. So why don't you take a little time, tell us a little something about yourself, who you are, what's your life like today, and maybe something unique that other folks don't know.
I feel like I'm on the dating show. I'm a Taurus. Okay. I am, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. And after what I went through, I am 150% believer. I have been blessed with so many miracles in my life. And I know that all of it is for a reason, but man, it's a tough journey being with an addict. It is a tough thing. Coming out on the other side, I feel amazing and it feels so reliefful. And I know I'm kind of getting off track. I'm supposed to be talking about myself, like what's unique about me. But I would say that's what's unique about me is that I'm on the other side of hell.
Wow. Okay. Well, let me make it a little easier for you. I'm going to play the man on the street, okay? So let's talk
Okay.
about your early days. What was it like for little Lisa growing up? You know, your home life, sports, or what was little Lisa like?
Um, so I was the oldest of all the grandchildren, so I didn't have a lot of playmates. My father physically abused my mom, and I moved out on the day I turned 18. Got my own apartment and have been independent ever since then. Um, and my parents were just young and so they didn't just know any better. And, like they were, it was what it was, right? They were 19 and 20. So they just didn't know any better in the 70s. It was what it was.
Mm,
Hmm.
wow. Well, sorry, that's something I didn't know. So yeah. Were you into any, I don't know, sports or hobbies or anything as a
I was
young
in
lady?
something called DECA, which was Distributive Education Clubs of America, and I competed in like sales demonstrations and how I would handle problems. And I went to state and won a state award in Texas for it.
What?
Yeah,
As a youth? That's pretty
yeah.
impressive. So
Hmm.
was that like, I don't know, were you in forensics or debate or any of that stuff? Or are you just academically inclined?
I wouldn't say academically inclined. I guess just things, sometimes you just absorb things. People absorb things and analyze things differently. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I would say that's something that I have as a blessing or a gift.
Okay. There's introverts and extroverts. Which category are you?
I'm definitely an extrovert.
Okay. That's interesting. I could see that though, just based on what you just said, I could see that you enjoy working with people, and uh, that's great. It's
Hmm.
funny. One of the reasons that this studio is in the deep dark location of my domicile is because I'm an introvert, and besides the fact that I have a face for radio. I couldn't do, I'm not really good with, I've always been a listener, and I've always been one of those persons that just ask a lot of questions, but to actually get engaged, I've just, like my wife is the exact opposite. She has never met a stranger, and I love to watch her work, but I'm just, it zaps my energy. So kudos to you. So
Hmm.
when you got out of high school, DECA's behind you. What did you get into? What'd you do?
Um, I got I went through college, eventually got my bachelor's like 10 years later. I married a gentleman in the military, went to the military. Um, Long story short, our marriage ended. He cheated on me. It didn't work out. And then I met, um, my husband, uh, Joe, who I married him with, and he had two babies in tow, and I became their mother. They knew no other.
My gosh, you have already been jumping some hurdles. You shared that your father was kind of difficult there. I'm really sorry to hear that. And then you were again. You'd think that I would know some of these things because I ask a lot of questions. But the pre-show chat, we were really focused on other stuff. I did not know that you had been previously married, and that didn't work out. You're batting 100 right now. Sorry. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
So,
that, and to be honest with you, that's why I probably allowed so much because I was on number two and the stigmata
um,
behind it. Mhm.
did it?
Mhm.
I mean, some of these. I hope I don't. Go. I don't know. I'm not afraid to ask questions, but I am afraid
I'm not
to
afraid to
answer.
answer.
Okay,
No,
good, good.
I'm
Did
not
you?
afraid to answer because I'm here to serve and here to help.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you feel that going into your second relationship after what you just shared with me that you had maybe a sense of insecurities or some baggage or damaged goods or what did you think about yourself?
Mm-mm. I during in between marriage one and two, I really really, really got to know myself.
Okay.
And I was really like happy. I probably felt better than at any time in my life, other than now, of course.
Right, right.
Um, but my confidence is high. I had an excellent job, getting commissions, and I mean, just a really, I was a catch, honestly. I don't know how else to put it, but I had a house, I had a rental, so I was in a good spot in my life for being 30 years old.
Okay. Well, that's pleasant to hear. How did you meet Joe?
So believe it or not, Joe was a Match.com story, and that could be another show. I have a whole formula on how you pick these men out because so many of them are not good men. They're just married guys looking for side things on Match.com. But anyways, I found Joe, and I was real firm about my wants, and he wooed me and he met them. Yeah, he did a great job of really putting in the time to court me.
Well, by the way, I may take you up on that offer of this online dating thing, which I'm completely unfamiliar with anyway, other than hearing third party stories. But yet he wasn't looking for a hookup. He actually courted you, which led to marriage. So he actually did want to commit to you. Yeah.
He did. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Even though I wasn't really wanting to commit to him because I knew being in a relationship with him, I had to have responsibility of his two daughters.
Oh, good point.
I wasn't necessarily ready to have a family of three daughters. So it took a lot for me. And we didn't, our children did not meet for a long time before we knew we were super solid and this was serious.
So
our children never met.
So Lisa, you had a daughter and Joe had two daughters? Okay, I see. And then, okay, so when you say long time, we talk, obviously it wasn't more than a year, or was it more than 2 years?
I mean, before our children met, we were already knew we were super serious. So I'd say it was probably about 4 months,
Okay.
4 or 5 months. And we were seeing each other almost every day.
Oh, okay. So you took the next step, the kids met, and then you took the next step and actually got married? Yeah?
Yeah, and then like 6 months later, we were married. So probably after a year after we met, we were married.
Okay, so how was, the honeymoon? I'm talking about not just the night, but, the preceding weeks, months. I mean, how was the relationship?
Everything was really great. We really took our time to lay out boundaries. We did, marriage classes. We were in adult marriage classes. We still had continued to do that to work on communication, what's your love language, all these through our church. So it was probably maybe a year and a half into our marriage when I found he was online talking in chat rooms.
Wow. So many questions. How did you find out?
Just internet chat history, back
did you have suspicions, Lisa, or did it just whoa?
None.
It's
no. It hit me like a bag of rocks. And I'm like, and I had just come off of a relationship, with husband number one who had cheated on me.
Right.
And here I am thinking that, we're at church, we're in Bible studies, we're in this, we're in that. Like, I'm good, right? I'm in a great marriage. And boom, that just hit me like a pile of rocks.
Lots of questions. How did you broach this? Joe, what are you doing? Or what's this? Or how did that look?
Yeah. Basically, he just was like, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. It doesn't mean anything. It's not in person. Boys will be boys. But, and that got him through the first hurdle, is what I could say.
Oh, my. Okay. But chat rooms, again, call me naive, but I've heard of them. I've just never been in them. So are they just, just people communicating in there, or what happens in those chat rooms?
There's more explicit type chat rooms where people go looking for hookups or looking. I mean, and all this is hindsight, of course. I
Yeah.
have no idea, right?
Yeah.
Looking for hookups, looking for, sex chats and different things like that.
So, but did Joe actually meet with these people, or it was online chatter?
At that time, I really don't know.
Right.
I mean, you could have been meeting up. But as far as I knew at that point in my marriage, it was just online.
Oh boy. Okay, so when that happened, did you guys seek counseling, see the pastor or anything like that?
No, I just kind of moved along with life. And I mean, we were going to church, right? We were involved. We were in Wednesday and Sundays. Our kids were growing up in church. So, we were pretty active. And, the thing about him is everybody loved him, and he's a great guy, and he cooks and he cleans and he provides. And, what do I have to complain, right? Yeah.
So,
until a
in the
couple
back,
more years down the line.
Yeah. Okay, you're going there for me. Go ahead.
Yeah. So then intimacy stopped between us, and it was like constantly, hey, can we, we're married. Why aren't we? And so then my red flags started to go up. Right.
Intimacy stopped with him?
Yeah, between us.
Oh.
There was the frequency changed, and all of a sudden I'm like, what's going on? What the heck, And so then my red flags started going up, and I started to be suspicious. And then I went to the computer and didn't find much, but I found a lot of like pornography sites.
Okay, so I know what pornography is now. I don't know if I told you this, but my daughter-in-law schooled me on pornography, and I was schooled. I just, and I'm not saying I'm an anomaly, because I've got a whole tribe of guys I hang out with, and a lot of them are just as naive about this pornography as I am. So when you say sites, were these explicit active sites? They weren't just pictures, they were videos, or what am I hearing?
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't click into them, but again, a lot of this knowledge is hindsight. There's something for everyone on these sites. And I mean, the thing is that what I later learned was that he was taught at a very early age to watch these and to masturbate to them. And that was how he was first exposed to sexual intimacy. And it forever changed the course of his life.
So he shared with you that in his youth he was subjected to this by friends or somebody, and
it was by an uncle's friend. Every day after school, that's where he would go to be quote unquote watched. But this is what they would do.
Oh my!
He would show this. So he was shown pornography, and then this man who was in a wheelchair taught him how to masturbate and and so this gentleman would watch him.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's sick. That's taking advantage of a kid. I don't even want to go down that road. Wow. So somehow then he had his own, and again, I was schooled on this. So I would say that Joe had his own guilt and shame, and based on what I learned from my daughter-in-law, is that stuff just compounds itself. We can't get away from it. We can't tell anybody. We keep doing it. So so Joe's caught up in this secret sin, and can't tell anybody. And then you catch him. He confesses, and what happens at that time?
So at that time, we had a full manifestation of this addiction. We had our own business. and he would have a lot of free time. And so what ended up happening, we ended up losing the business, of course, because what he would do is go around the city to places that show these and like theaters and things. He'd go and, and look for people that he could watch live doing all this. I mean, just circling around the city all day long instead of working.
That's amazing. And I say that because myself and a lot of the tribe guys that I hang with, we're recovering illicit users. And I used to think that this, it's really funny that we're talking about this because, I think we've mentioned it on other shows, when I hear things that are not illicit related, I think, hey, just walk away from it, man. Just quit. Again, I was schooled. We've talked to other people in various shows. The similarities to something in the brain clicking is very similar in pornography and illicits, drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex. Sex and pornography, I guess they're closely related. But there's something in the brain that clicks where somebody is just, they're powerless. And I can't wrap my brain around that. I have to believe it because it exists. And, I went to Vegas for a friend that got married. And while I was there, every bathroom that I ever saw had, Gamblers Anonymous, 1-800, and I'm like, just walk away from it. But it's not that easy. So anyway, we don't want to digress here too far. You lost the business, and then how did you know that you lost the business because of what Joe was doing? Did he tell you that?
He did. And he, the one thing that I will say is that he manipulated me with transparency, right? Like, I need your help, and would really divulge a lot of his life to me. And then it would pull on my heartstrings, and I'd give him another chance and another chance and another chance, right? So he was really a really great manipulator because he knew that I made a commitment to his 2 children as well.
Oh,
and that manipulation and that, what the identity that I lost in myself and what I let myself become, it was not because I was so, number one, I was on marriage. Number two, I literally married these 2 children because they were in the marriage ceremony. We all 5 of us lit a candle together, like in unity, so he was able to really use that. And then, kind of in the sense, keeping finances so tight, that if I left, my lifestyle would just dramatically change.
Oh, Lisa. Gosh. So I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm trying to imagine being in Joe's head, where on one hand, he's telling you this because that is a call for help, but it's also a manipulation because he's not he's not trying to quit, or he hasn't quit.
Exactly.
Oh, man, what a torn individual. And it's reminiscent, my own father wasn't the great, I've talked about this on the show. He wasn't the greatest example on the planet. And, he married my stepmother, and he was not a good guy. And so after he died, I asked her, I was a grown adult by then, and I was in the Army. And I was like, Mom, why didn't you ever leave the guy? And her words were, what would have happened to you? And I was like, wow, she passed away last August. And I'll tell you that woman had, that place was packed. The cathedral was just absolutely slam packed. She had changed or made an effect on so many people's lives because of the love she had. And I kind of hear that in you because you took on his 2 daughters. By the way, do you still have a relationship with them?
Yes. Very much so. They still call me mom. I still call them daughter. Yeah.
Oh, that's
and my
beautiful.
My oldest, that's their, his oldest child is just like a regular medal. I've they've been my daughters since the age of 2 and 4, and they're still my daughters.
Oh man, there's a
Mm-hmm.
special place for you, Lisa. Now, does your biological daughter and your stepdaughters, do they jam pretty well?
Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
very good. Wow. Okay, so where did this addiction take Joe and your relationship? You guys are still married, so where did it go?
So it never stopped. Like we went through, we even became leaders of a Celebrate Recovery program, which is a Christian version of a 12-step program.
Okay.
We became active leaders in our church. And I know that he tried, but I don't know how much. You know what I mean? I really feel like a lot of that was just a pacifier to save his life, right? Because there's the life that everybody sees, and oh my God, he's so great, and blah, 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 blah. And I was part of that mass. And then there's what he was really, really doing, and and I mean, the thing with this addiction is that, you don't, it's not as, I would say, it's not as financially easy to spot, right? It's all intimacy and it's all relational, and the way it makes you feel as a woman. I can't speak for somebody that is married to a alcoholic, right? I can't speak to that, but I can speak to that. It's that constant, why am I not enough? Why doesn't he love me enough? Why am I not pretty enough? All of those things. Why isn't the marital bed enough? So yeah, it's a horrible place to see, and I think it's a lot easier to keep it going because there's no really financial outcome. Like once you have your job in place and you can, keep it, you can find time for this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were your daughters aware of their father's affliction?
No, they heard us arguing, and when I would probe him, he would get ultra angry and just lash out, and it was all just, now I know it was just a defense mechanism, so I'd shut up and stay pacified.
Yeah, and I'm very familiar with that from being in his shoes, but illicit related.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a game. Give me an excuse. I yell, you shut up. Yeah, and it's not good. I'm not proud of it. So, but I can identify with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where you've lost your business now, and he's still in the affliction. So where did this go?
I mean, it went on for years. It went on. So in all, we were married 17 years.
Oh.
And I'd say probably for, maybe 15 of them, he was more than likely addicted at some form or another. And he had bouts of sobriety throughout.
You mean abstinence from the pornography when you say sobriety? Okay, I'm tracking. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't speak to how long. I really don't think it was more than 30 to 60 days at a time. And the thing is I knew, like, he would smell a certain way. He would act a certain way.
Did you say he would smell a certain way?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that? What do you mean smell a certain way?
Well, because he would go to these places and just the odor of these places had, so I went into these places once, right? Because, I'm trying to, be that wife, and it disgusted me. It was so vile. Like it just reeked of sin, like when you walk into a church, you feel prayer, you feel holy. Like there's just something about being in an old church, right? That you feel that sense, right?
Yeah, sense of peace.
So when I felt there, I literally felt like I needed a shower immediately. It was just, and so it was that smell. And so I would smell that smell on him.
Oh my.
Yeah. And I was just, and that's like at full. And then, of course, from there, I would be checking his location. I would be, the whole location on the phone thing, right? Like
Yeah.
you learn not just find phone on Apple, which is a great thing when your kids are learning to drive.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Knowing that they're moving and they're not in an accident, it's a great thing.
That's right.
But and then we got to the point where he'd put a code on it, and I could see wherever he was. Well, then he learned how to manipulate the code and do it another way, or shut off his phone, or leave his phone somewhere. And I mean, it was just a constant cat and mouse game. I was constantly checking his phone, checking cell phone records. I mean, it was just an endless thing of me trying to prove to myself that yes, he is cheating. When are you leaving? And in the interim, I lost completely who I was. I mean, I was still successful at work, but and we had friends and we had vacations and we had a great life, but everything was tainted because I never was 100% that person that he married, because he just kind of stompled on it. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He just made me feel so like I wasn't a whole person, because I didn't, oh, I should be happy because, he comes home every night. And oh, I should be happy because he's not beating me. And oh, I should be happy because he gives me great gifts and we go on vacation. Well, no, number one, we couldn't afford to go on that vacation.
Oh, yeah.
I would have rather saved the money and had money in my bank account. I mean, that was number one. But number two, why should I have accepted less? Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with me that I should accept less. No woman should accept less than, the marriage that is honest and pure.
I want to bark at the audience, but I just got to remember, I got to have some empathy here, because I thought this was just a man thing. Again, I got scolded. I didn't realize that women go through this too. So I tell you, men and women that are involved in this addiction, hear what Lisa's saying. Nobody deserves to go through that. Nobody. God bless you, Lisa. Where did this culminate? How did this end?
So, my middle daughter moved out, and then
how old was she when she moved out?
19.
Okay,
19.
so she's an adult now. She moved out.
Mm-hmm,
okay,
mm-hmm.
But she moved out on. I'm just curious. She moved out on her own accord. She didn't feel like she was being chased off. Okay, I'm tracking. Okay.
Well, I mean, her and I always didn't click, right? But I mean, middle children do middle children things. So I love my middle child.
Yeah, my son is a therapist. He listens to these shows, so he would agree with you. He was the middle child, and he and I, we butted head a few times, but we're pretty tight now.
Yeah.
We're pretty tight
now. We're great.
Yeah.
We're great. Yeah. So my middle child is, like I said. So she moved out first. And then the other two, we moved them to another part of Texas. And then, and we knew this was all culminating. And I said, either A, we go to therapy, or B, I'm getting a divorce.
Okay.
Because my job was done, right? The kids, I'm like, I can't live like this anymore.
Okay.
And so we started going to therapy, and the therapist was pretty firm. She actually got on me because, and this wasn't the first time we tried therapy, right? But she actually got on me because I told her I felt that I was in an abusive relationship. And she's like, oh, no, if you're in an abusive relationship, I can't help you. This isn't abuse. And I'm like, what? How is not being manipulated, not being abused? It was unbelievable.
A therapist said that this is complete abuse. I mean, I don't even have a degree in this. Well, I do, but I'm not a practicing guy, and I can see this is abuse.
Yeah. And she told me, she's like, this is not abuse. And then he took it, yeah. And that was a whole nother little fire he could throw at me. Like, I never
Oh,
abused you. I'm like, really? You've never abused you? You master manipulator, you know? Um, so, so yeah,
are you feeling pretty alone during this time?
alone that nobody knew what I was going through and everything. I became a fake as well, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody thought we were this happy married couple, that we had the world at our feet, on Facebook we're going here and there and, um, so, but inside I didn't like who I was.
Right.
I gained 10 pounds every year on clockwork. I mean, I was 225 pounds. I wasn't attractive. I was so far from the woman he married. And I was
Oh my.
extremely unhappy.
I just want to reach out and
Even
hug
though,
you. So,
oh, yeah,
gosh.
and it's, but the thing is too, it's like, I have to, like, how did I allow so much of my life to go away? And I have to look back and like, no, like I was also there for my kids.
Yeah.
I was there, and honestly, I wish, um, I wish I would have left sooner because I think their outcome would be way different.
Mm.
They would be stronger women and, they would, but, at the time, all you can see is the next day in front of you,
Yeah.
and the next day in front of me was checking his phone. Where is he? What time is it? Why didn't he answer? What is he doing? Let me look. Let me look on the location on the computer. Let me look at the location when he gets home. Oh, he left his Apple Watch. I could see text messages here. It was a constant thing where I like was, and then I would find out the information that yes, he went and, you know, received oral sex from a stranger, and what do I do with that information? Like, okay, I found this out. Now what? Is this the time that I'm going to leave, or am I just going to yell at him more? So once the kids left, that was it. And my mind was pretty set on ending the marriage. I was very, very done. And we were going through counseling, and he's like, I'm so sorry, I finally hear you, and blah, blah, blah. And I was pretty set. But then, um, right after we got back from dropping my kids off, my other two, now I'm an empty nester. 3 days later, he gets COVID. And it wasn't the kind of COVID where people get sick for 2 weeks and get over it. It was the kind of COVID that, um, he had 106 fever. He wasn't testing positive for COVID.
He wasn't
And
testing positive? Or,
no, he was sick.
oh,
Yeah, he was not testing positive. He took 4 COVID tests later, and he finally tested positive, and they admitted him into the hospital.
oh.
And he suffered immensely.
When you say suffered,
Um,
what, I mean,
he was on
breathing?
oxygen.
Okay.
They wanted to incubate him or intubate or whatever it was, and we were told that only 1 in 25 people are coming off of that. I mean, 25% of people are coming off of that.
Oh,
And yeah, so for a full month, it was real touch and go, and I thought I was going to lose him. And you go through so many emotions because at that point, it all becomes about, you know, I don't want this man to die. This is the man I love.
sure,
Because
sure.
through everything, I still loved the man.
Yeah, yeah.
We still got along. We still laughed, and we still had good times together, right? Like but everything was a black smudge on it, because of this addiction, so here, so I went through a month where I couldn't see him because he was in intensive care, and I'd call the hospital constantly, call who's the nurse now? What's his oxygen? What's this? What's that? And it was, he suffered, extremely suffered. He went through, wearing this mask where it's like blowing wind in your face for like 55 miles an hour, just trying to shove air down his throat, and he made it out, and he lost 45 pounds
Oh my
in a
gosh.
month. Yeah, he was just bones. He couldn't walk, and I got to see him, and and in the meantime, the nurses are like, hey, he's supposed to be doing breathing tubes, the breathing ball thing up and down. He's not doing that. Hey, he needs to lay on his stomach. He's not doing that. And I'm like, what the hell? Why aren't you doing well, what's going on? Why can't you do this? I just can't. And so, yeah, I finally got to see him. And by then he was COVID free. But, so it was just a matter of time for him to get out. He couldn't get out right away. He was on down to 10 liters of oxygen, but there was no oxygen supply. This was in 2021 in October.
There was no oxygen supply?
Not enough to support 10 liters.
Because of the pandemic.
Because of the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they said you're gonna have to wait till you're down to 2 or 4 liters of oxygen. And he in the hospital a few times it was real cold. Long story short, he caught pneumonia, and they put a tube. His lungs collapsed 3 times, and that was it. He was pretty much gone.
Wow. So did he succumb to this sickness?
So one of the things that he told me that I keep playing in my head was that right now he is sin free, and if he goes out there again, he will start sinning again, and he can't control it, and he's afraid to go out there. And I just looked at him like, what are you saying? We were constantly arguing because I'm like, right, sit up, go walk, do this breathing tube, do what they're telling you, get out of here. I'm tired of coming here. I was like, I didn't know what else to do other than yell at him and be mad and like, come on, fight for your life. Like, the guy next to you just walked out of here. Why aren't you? And those words just sat in my head. He said, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. And I'm like, no. Like, in his mind, he was a Christian man. I mean, he would see police officers and say, hey man, let me pray for you. And that's courage. Like, I'm a salesperson. I can go ask anybody for whatever and just, not be afraid to hear the word no. But to go up to a complete stranger and say, hey, let me pray for you, that is hard. Was
it while he was in the hospital?
No. This was his life before.
Okay.
He was a Christian. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That was his faith, that he would walk up to a police officer, anyone in the universe, and say, hey man, let me pray for you. That's hard to do. And then people would be like, yes, to be led by the Holy Spirit and to go and pray for somebody like that is very hard. I've tried it myself. I'm like, okay, that's a man in uniform. Are you going to go up to him and pray for him? Like, no, I can't. So yeah, so he, when there was like maybe 3 or 4 days, and they said, there's no way you're going to make it out of here. He was happy, and I was upset, and we had some final words, and that's what really helped me be okay with everything. He said, I know where I'm going. I'm happy about it. And I already know you're going to be okay. You're going to be with somebody who loves you. And I was so angry, but there was pure joy on his face.
Wow.
And I just was, and I couldn't take that away from him. It was like a beautiful thing. Like, I've never seen, like, the darkness had lifted from him.
Wow.
And he was ready. And he told his aunts and everything that he was literally in purgatory and punishment for all the things that he did through those 2 months in the hospital. And I mean, he really, really suffered. I mean, there's beyond more that I could tell you about his time in the hospital, but it was horrible.
Oh my goodness. And that's the struggle I have, from the pre-chat show pre-show chat that we had, I mean, on one hand, you've got this loving guy that, loves the Lord, loves people, but then he struggles with this terrible secret sin.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And,
mm-hmm.
I would think that he's an anomaly, but, after talking to other people on other shows, and then, of course, I'm obviously very involved in outreach and recovery. So many people out there that struggle with these incredulous secret sins. And I feel for them, because like when, like the tribe I hang with, we are very transparent with each other. There's a bunch of men, and it's not comfortable saying, yeah, I have a problem with, but it stays there because I trust these men and I trust my wife. But what I don't trust is myself. So I know, like we did a show with the Reverend, if you got a chance to listen to that show, and he goes by the Reverend, and he explains sin. I don't want to belabor this, but he said, whenever you have any kind of sin, you have to bring it out into the light, and it's got to be your priority to focus on your higher power to overcome that sin. And it sounds so easy. Just the words sound so easy, but then we have folks like Joe and other folks that I've encountered that they struggle so hard, and I'm just like, God bless him. Wow.
Yeah, he sought out many sexual therapists and many different things. And I remember devastation one time when he came home from a therapist, and the therapist said, "You are too far gone for me to even know where to help you."
Oh my gosh. These therapists that you guys have seen need to find other professions.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
it was just like, and then in the back of my head, I'm like, well, what the heck did you tell this therapist that I don't know about?
Oh, right. Right. I mean, you're already dealing with all this secrecy, and you know what you know, and you wonder what you don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I already knew quite a bit, and yeah.
So Joe passed away in 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was it like for you at that immediate time when, if I may ask, when he passed? What you said that for him,
I couldn't believe it.
Okay.
I was so upset. I was just mad. I was like, because I foresaw it because he was on that path. He wasn't sitting up. He wasn't walking. He wasn't doing the things he had to do. He just gave up.
Checked out.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that, like a form of suicide by COVID or something?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So he's passed, I believe, and you may as well, that, he's surrendered, and he's more than likely he's in a better place. He's free, as you said. There was some sense of peace that he had when he told you that he was ready.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe so. Yeah.
So what happens? What happens to Lisa at that point? You guys had lost your business. You lost your husband. Where are you at now?
Well, I was really, really blessed. The job I had took very, very good care of me. People donated vacation. I had enough vacation time donated to stay home 6 weeks.
Oh, good. God bless them.
Yeah, during all this. And, financially, we weren't in a bad situation. I mean, the thing was the business being lost was probably maybe 10, 15, 12 years before. So, I mean, we had financially recovered, and
I see.
He had a great job. I had a great job. So financially, I was okay. I had a ton of bills. I had cars to sell. I had a lot. I don't even know how I did it, to be honest with you. And
I think we know how you did it.
My grandma had just passed 2 weeks prior.
Okay.
And I had to take care of all of her belongings and household. And they were in the hospital at the same time. I was going to 2 hospitals at once. And I don't even know. I just did. And because I couldn't fall apart because so many people were counting on me.
Right.
My kids, right?
So you got to be strong.
I have to be strong. And the thing is I think really the final words helped me. All the miracles, all the prayers, all the people bringing me food, people, my lawn guy knocking on my door and saying, "Hey, can I pray for you?" At one of the worst points, like And I'm just like up looking at God, like, oh, okay, thank you, God. Like I just knew it would be okay because I really seeked those signs and I paid attention to them, and I'm at a church service. I'm at my daughter's church. I'm at a church service and I'm like, how am I going to financially do this? Oh my God, there's so many bills. He's the breadwinner. I don't make that kind of money. What am I going to do? I have to sell the house. I have to sell the cars. I'm like, what am I going to do? Right. And at that moment, somebody walks by, hands me $100 bill and says, and with a note around it that says, Jesus loves you.
Oh,
Literally at the same moment I'm thinking this. I'm not even paying attention to the service. And she just felt led and did it. And I'm like, oh my God, so I can say I was like, as a believer, you're always like, is God real? Is God not real? Is he real? I was like maybe a 75% believer, but after what I've been through and all the miracles, I'm like, I am just so blessed. I'm like 100 and there's just no way that God's not real. There's just no way.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to look at a miracle and go, you're not real.
There's way more miracles that happened even after the fact. So many things that are just too much to be a coincidence.
Wow. So you if you don't mind me asking, you had mentioned, I think you said something like, like a 75% relationship with God. Then after the miracle, it increased. What is your relationship with God like right now?
Well, I haven't been back to church. Well, I've been to a prosperity Bible church, which is fine for most, but it wasn't for me. It was just a place I could kind of hide into the crowd, right? Okay. So I haven't gotten into the relationship of, I pray in public, I pray with people, I'm nonstop listening to K-Love, right? But that's not going to church. I know I need to go to church, right?
Well, the church is one thing, but I'm just really on your relationship with God, church aside. But what when you think of God, is God like your everything, or is he part-time? I'm just curious, because everything you went through now, I would think that, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but after some of the people I've talked to, they walk through the fire, and in hindsight, one guy put it pretty succinctly, I got into recovery because of God and didn't know it. Now I stay in recovery because of God and I know it,
Well, I think a lot of it is where God wants me. Like I meet so many widows, and it's, and it's draining because it comes up, the whole thing I went through, the death and the marriage, and it comes up. But I know that God wants me to say something to them.
When you say it comes up, it comes up with these widows, and you...
With the pain comes up, the pain of the loss, Mm-hmm.
So you feel that you're able to use your experience to help other people? Am I hearing that?
Yeah. Because okay. I'm a voice of reason, a voice of, So okay. Yes, I don't know how else to put it.
Well, you made some good points. Hindsight's 2020. Had you seen these patterns in Joe, you would have moved on a lot earlier. And I think that hearing what you, and I'm not a practicing therapist by any stretch of the imagination, but I think one of the wrestling matches that I've heard this ad infinitum. Well, God says we're supposed to stay together forever. And I'm like, I think there's got to be a line where even God is like, hey, you don't have to be subject to this abuse. So you put some boundaries out there. And if your partner's not willing to do the right thing, I disagree with that other therapist regarding abuse. I think it's time to pop smoke, got to go. Got to go, Joe. Yeah. Love you. If you get your crap together, give a holla, but otherwise, see ya. I don't mean to be mean about this. I just can't imagine somebody being forced to hang in there because of ideologies or what have you.
It wasn't ideologies. It was, number one, manipulation, being too comfortable. I didn't want to get uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to I didn't want to give up the nice house, the nice car, and go live with my grandma or be in an apartment or, but I really wish I would have.
Yeah.
I really wish I would have, because I really think my daughters would have learned more independence.
Wow. What a tough call. And I hate to give advice,
but
so I didn't, but
right?
man, I just know that on one hand, I'm thinking run. On the other hand, I'm thinking, I don't know if that's the right thing. It's a turmoil. Wow.
It is. It's very difficult. But also living with this black cloud, living with that black smudge, living with it always being tainted and not pure.
Yeah.
Was so, like, the relationship that I'm in now, I don't even think about looking at his stuff. It's because I trust him. He's, and he does things that, like, hey, I'm going here and this and that, and I'm like, oh wow, great.
Hey, before we get there, let's talk about the transition, because I do want to go there. But like support groups, do you have affiliations with any support groups or ladies that you can identify with that you don't have to carry, like, widows in your share your pain? I mean, do you have a support group where ladies kind of lean on each other, like guys lean on each other? Do you have anything like that?
So what I really got into was just meeting people through business with a networking group. So I just really started to start networking and meeting all kinds of different people in all stages of their career, all ages. And it was something fun and something I enjoyed. And I still do it. So I do a lot of business networking, all different avenues. I mean, you can go on Eventbrite and, or your city and just look up business networking. And for me, it was a way for me to get out there and be around people.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to go to like, I've been a women's retreat and it's all crying. And I can't cry anymore. So I didn't want to go to a grieving support group, but I started going to these business networking and just like meeting people in a different way. And it was fun. I had a great time. I met a lot of great people. A lot of them I'm still friends with.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most difficult shows I've done because our group is a pretty snarky group. And this is, when we chatted before, I even thought about it. I was like, God, how, because, I don't want to show where, I'm sorry I'm alive today. Everything sucks. It's like, so we do the experience, strength, and hope, which you've shared. But we really, so, we heard your experience, but I find joy in hearing your strength and hope. And you just said yours wasn't a desire to go to, a cry tank, but rather than to associate with healthy people that are doing healthy things. I like that. That's a good toolbox. And that's one of the things we want to provide our audience is some avenues of, healthy living. But no, let's transition from that and go into, you just said you were in a relationship. So obviously you transitioned out of the mess. Did you have a different perspective going into this relationship than you did, your first two? Like, was there a list of, that you're going to check these things off with this individual? How did that look?
There was an extremely strict criteria. Okay. And the thing was, I had to be okay with being alone.
Oh, wow. Okay. A lot of people aren't.
Wasn't met.
A lot of people aren't okay with that, and we call it codependency. So, you were learning to be your own person. Awesome. So, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No. But it's true. It's true. I had to be okay with being alone first, right? Okay. And then I had to be okay with if this person doesn't meet this box is super important. This box is mildly important. This box is beyond important. That person wasn't perfect within those boxes. And I did go back to Match.com because I can tell you it's like hiring somebody for the job.
Yeah.
And if you don't find the right candidate, you move on. You're not going to hire the guy that's going to come in late to work all the time. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So I had my like, I mean, and I don't mean to make this analogy, but it's just the only way I can really sum it up is I had that qualification list and I asked questions and dove deep and like next, next, next. Most didn't even make it past the conversation.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I talked to my wife about this subject some time ago. We have some other people that have, dabbled with the online dating. And the way she explained it to me were that, some of these are legit hookup sites. That's really all they are. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. That's gross. That's just, well, as a senior citizen, I'm not interested in that at all, of course. But then she said, some of these others, obviously you pay money and they do like these algorithms are pretty tight on what they do. There's some screening involved. And I didn't know any of that. And I thought, how did you know that, by the way? So.
Well, and I will say you have to pay for it because if both people aren't vastly paying for it, then it is just for a hookup.
Yeah. She made that pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
And I was because I needed to know because I do these shows and I hear pre-show chats. I've interviewed other people and I just don't understand what I don't know. I mean, I've learned a lot doing this podcast. Okay, so the individual here kind of without, I guess he passed the audition because you guys are in a relationship. And are there checks and balances in place? You had said earlier that he lets you know where he's going, what he's doing. Do you feel like you said you trust him, but is those things that he's doing?
He just did it naturally.
He did it naturally. Okay.
It wasn't something that I asked. It was. Okay. I wasn't like, hey, let me know where you're going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just, okay. It was just something that he did naturally that I was so, and that's the thing is that because I don't have so much of my mindset wasted worrying about what is he doing? Where is he? I mean, it was a constant thing where I'm like stressed and worried about him being out there with other people.
And if flags were to say, be reminiscent of the past, if those were to pop up, how would you handle them today?
I would just move on.
That's it.
I'm not. My life is one thing is life is short, right?
That's right.
I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live like that because like 30% of my mind was probably consumed with that, and with that 30%, I'm able to be the person I am now.
Very
right.
Good.
I went and got my health coaching certification.
Oh.
I'm repping for a company. I have women's groups that I run, I do a lot and I'm amazed that I can even get it all done, not perfectly, but I can get it all done. I have a lot of great friends, so I have a good life, but because I'm not wasting my energy on all that negative stuff that I used to just fixate on. Right. And then it came into the eating to kind of self-satisfy and self-soothe. Right. I'm there eating.
I hear that a lot.
You know what I mean?
Comfort food.
Yeah.
So do you have like any favorite quotes, Bible verses or whatever that you lean on like daily? Like this is your go-to just to, I don't know, how you hear those self-motivations, people look in the mirror and go, man, you're the man, or you're the woman, or they'll, recite the serenity prayer. Do you have those kinds of things that you do that, motivate you, pump you up? What do you do?
I mean, definitely there's quotes that, that I always think of, like on my weight loss, I don't live to eat anymore. I eat to live.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Eat to live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eat to live, because I used to always be like, what am I going to eat? Oh, I want to go here. We're going on a trip. I want to see what there's something. So I was really living to eat.
Good.
You know what I mean? My whole life was food. Now, it's still hard to get away from that because entertainment is like social meetings. Let's go have lunch. You want to go out to dinner? Like, it's so hard to just be like, hey, do you want to meet up for a walk?
Right.
Right. But I try. But it's still, now it's just coffee and then I have an iced tea with no sugar. But yeah, quotes that I live by, one that really has always kind of stood out is wearing the armor of God.
Oh, was that is that Ephesians or Philippians? Gosh, I
It's
can't believe.
Ephesians.
Yeah,
It's
4:16.
Ephesians. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my senior moment just kicked in. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
very good one. Very good.
Yeah. So that one, that whole, the sword, the breastplate.
That's right.
Envisioning that, right? And it's not so much about being a warrior, but it's being receptive to those little things.
Mm-hmm.
Those, okay, this woman needs me to say this. You better say it. Like, hey, this woman needs prayer. You better pray with her. Hey, I know you don't want to be, this woman's friend, but she needs you.
Well, one of the things you've made, one of the things you've made very clear, and we really push it hard on the show, is outreach. And I'm parroting myself, but I'm going to say it anyway, because that's kind of the premise of the show. If you want to feel good about yourself, and all of us do, all of us have, stuff, baggage, damaged goods, whatever we've all got. We're people. Things have happened, but there's some kind of medicine that, can't be clinically described. It's just the way it is. But if you want to feel good about yourself, do something for somebody else and not tell anybody. There's something behind that, because, like, I'm a naturally selfish person. I was a kid, I made a lot of mistakes, but then getting into an outreach program and growing, I was taught that the number one tool, man, is get out of your head. That's where your problems are, Bob. You can't fix the stuff in your head with the stuff that's in your head. So get out. And you sound like, just like you went to the coaching class. You said you got certified in that, right?
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Yeah. Certified health coach. Yeah.
I was pretty impressed with this other thing. I hadn't heard of this before, but like, instead of going to a cry tank, which is what the tribe calls it. So I didn't make that up. We're just going to go and cry together and kumbaya and all of us kind of joke about it. But I know there's health there. There is good stuff. So please, audience, I'm not trying to dog it. But
it wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. I just could not cry anymore. I cried for 2 months while he was in the hospital.
Well,
2 months solid.
Crying is good, but I don't think any of us want to stay there. We need to get out of that and start focusing on the joy. And one of the things you said that impressed me was doing your business networking. What is your business? Can I ask you what your business is?
Sure. So what I do is I help people just get off the matrix and shop somewhere else. And shopping here kind of changed me and even made me go and look to be a health coach and learn more. So I'm an independent rep, and the place I shop at, there's no phthalates, there's no phosphates, there's no formaldehyde, there's no chlorine bleach, there's no parabens. None of that is in these products. They're pure. They're made within the last 90 days. They're not sitting on a shelf where they need all these stabilizers and fillers and toxins and carcinogens, right? And I never thought of myself as what they call a crunchy person.
A crunchy person?
A crunchy person is someone that lives like organic and non-toxic. They call themselves crunchy, right?
Okay. I'm not going to cook my vegetables. I'm just going to pull them out of the garden and crunch on them. Is that it?
Exactly. I guess so. Be as raw as possible, right? So I didn't realize like how bad this stuff was. Why is my skin always dry? Well, the laundry soap, the lotion, the shampoo, the body wash was all contributing to it because it's toxic. So I started shopping here, and I love this place, and so I rep for it.
Okay, can we do a shameless plug? Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Right. What is it? Tell me what it is.
So people can find me on Facebook on my group that I run, and I help people find this place and shop. It's called NON Talks TOX Box Club. And I'm on Instagram, but I don't have very many followers yet. But I do have a Facebook group.
All right, I'm pulling it up. Okay, I'm focused on. Oh, well, this is good to know because I was kind of concerned you were going down the vegan route, and I'm a meat eater. So I look here. What's this? What is this beef thing? See more.
So the beef is really cool. And I tried vegetarian for a while, but we really need to have protein. So the beef, they grow their own grain. They raise their own cows, they slaughter and they package, and it's all made in America. They even make sure that there's no that monosato or whatever is that GMO stuff. That's not in the grain of these cows, and it tastes amazing. Like, I actually ran out of it, went and bought some steaks at Whole Foods, and I used to love steaks from Whole Foods, which they're so expensive, but they tasted like dead. I don't know how else to say it. They tasted so gross,
Wow.
and I'm like, oh my God, like, but you don't know what you don't know. Like, now I go to a hotel, I have to bring my own pillow because I smell the soap and I smell it all night long. I go to somebody's house and I can taste the Dawn dish soap in their house because it was just what we were used to. Like, I can't use the other toothpaste because it like burns my mouth, but you don't know, like, you just become so used to these things until you start using clean, pure ingredients.
I'm rolling through your site, and shameless plug, I don't know what you don't do. Golly. Okay, so I just bounced on something here. I don't want to belabor this, but sustain active electrolyte hydration. I'm using a product right now. I will check it out. I give you my word, I'll check it out. I may be a senior citizen, but I'm very athletic, so I have to, of course, be in the heat all the time. I've got one of the guys on the show, if you listen to the shows, in fact, you'll hear Josh and Pat, they both work outside a lot, and I was always getting kind of beat up, and they're like, dude, you need to start taking some electrolytes. And so I did some research, found the one that I like, but I'm going to check yours out. We'll see what happens. Okay. So you said that was I'm looking at it. It's non-tox box club. So if you're okay, well, I'll put that in the show notes.
Sure.
Okay. So audience, if you want to check it out, that's great. Lisa, that's going to kind of put you out there. So if you have creepers out there, I guess you're a big girl. You know how to handle them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm saying that because I don't know who's listening to the show. We get a lot of great feedback, but I told you we also have some weird people out there. I mean, they exist.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do, right? Just love on them, right? We're just going to love on the audience. Okay.
I'll pray for you for sure.
All right. So we have covered a lot of ground here. My head's kind of spinning because, like I told you before, this was a little bit more of a difficult show for me to go into. So Lisa, I really am grateful that you did take the time to come out. I pray that the people out there, God bless them. If you're in a situation like this, Lisa, I know this sounds really weird, but I always tell my audience, my guest, if my audience wants to talk to you, I can vet them. But you just gave us your access here. So I suppose if somebody reaches out to you in a safe environment like this, you can coach them if they're ladies or men that are going through this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the reasons I'm a certified health coach.
Wow.
I mean, because I knew at some point, you go through these trials for a reason.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. God never wished to hurt.
And when you, right. And when you come through on the other side, I mean, I can't do it I can't be a health coach for free. I mean, as much as my heart would love to. I mean, my time is extremely valuable, but if someone wants to invest, I'll be more than happy to invest with them. And unfortunately, it's a commodity, right? So it would have to be a financial exchange, but
sure.
I mean, I'll be more than happy to talk to somebody for 30 minutes and see what we could do in 30 minutes. There's no problem with that. But beyond that, it would have to fall under my health coaching platform, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
But widows and weight loss and just living on the side of pornography as a woman and what it does, and God created man and woman, and He created the intimacy in a marriage, and not to experience the pure joy that it should be. It's just horrible.
Wow.
It's horrible to live like that and not know that.
God bless you, Lisa. I can't say that enough. I'm really grateful for you. I've never talked to a survivor that's gone through something like this ever. I never even thought about it before. I'm always focused on the person that's actually in the addiction. I never really think about, because I know like they have adult children of alcoholics and dysfunctional families. They have Al-Anon and stuff like that. Well, I know there's programs out there that help people. So, I just kind of like, I'll interview those folks, but I've never met somebody in this capacity with the story that you've had. It's amazing. Any closing thoughts or words of encouragement for folks on their journey or new folks that need to hear something positive today?
I would say just there's so much out there where you can meet people and just be part of groups like Meetup, Eventbrite, your local chambers. All of those have different events. And even if you're a shy person, I tell you, a non-shy person like me is going to start talking and try to sell you something, but it's okay. They will be your friend too. Right? And I always learn something. I always have a great time. And there's usually always free food, right? So it's just a great place to at least get out and start to see perspectives. Like one thing as women, and one thing I wish I did was have more women relationships outside of my work, church, and home, because I didn't see other perspectives. And those people were so close to me that they never knew my pain.
Oh, wow.
Right? So had I gone and done networking or things, I would have saw women in different stages of their career had more to inspire to. And that's one of the things that I encourage all women, and just if you will go out and do networking, because you learn so much from different people, and you're not going to know that beyond your friends that are from your work, church, and home. You know what I mean? You need to meet people from different paths of life.
Yeah, that's get out, meet people. What was that saying I heard a while back? People are in a negative environment. Something like, if you can't change your team, change your team. I was like, ooh, that's profound. Okay. All right, Lisa. Well, thank you. And folks, that's it. So, thanks for listening. And please, folks, share our show with others. Go to shoutoutfromthepit.com, subscribe. Every time we put a show out, you'll get a ding, and, share it with other folks that could use some encouragement, extra tools for the recovery journey. And remember, you're not alone. And if no one's told you they love you today, we love you. So God bless you and have an outstanding recovery day. This is the Old Rucker. Peace out. All right. Wow. I admit this was one of the difficult shows for me to do. Lisa was very gracious with me. And I believe we all agree she's not only a survivor, but a woman willing to walk with those through their own challenges. And I have no problem giving a shameful plug for Lisa's business. I found it on Facebook under Non-Tox Box Club. That's non-N-O-N-T-O-X Box Club. And I noticed that her handle is Lisa. All right. So, hey, thanks again for hanging with us today. Be sure to subscribe at shoutoutfromthepit.com for future episodes. And as always, if no one's told you they love you today, Redbeard and I love you. You are not alone. I'm Bob the Old Rucker, praying you're having an outstanding American day. God bless and peace out.